According to most of the scholars in our time, they said that if you do not find the sign of the Mahdi when he will appear, then look for the Furat, the Euphrates river. Wallahi, this is what some of the ulama they're saying, that look at the Euphrates river and you will know when the Mahdi, the end of time, might take place. So this video, I have decided to actually make a commentary video on a video that I just found on YouTube, because this person, he is reporting about the condition of the Euphrates river, and this video was actually published 1 or 2 days ago. So I want you to take a look at this video, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said that yushikul furat ayahsir an kanzin min dhahab falamma hadaru fala yakhuz minhu shay'a. He said the yushikul furat ayahsir an kanzin, Furat river will reveal gold. If you are there, do not take anything from it. So the hadith basically is giving us the importance of this river. So inshallah, I want you to take a look at this video, and then inshallah we'll make a few comments.
You may have thought, with all the news about it, that the US or the Western US was the only place experiencing an extreme drought. However, you would be wrong. Hello and welcome back to the podcast once again, everybody. This time, still speaking about drought, but in a different location of the world, over in...
So basically he's talking in this video about the drought that is taking place right now in the States, in America. He said that that is not the only place that is facing drought, but there are other parts of the world that are facing the similar situation. So let's take a listen.
In the Middle East. And at the moment, those are the exact conditions that the Mesopotamian region of the Middle East is in, with the two big primary water sources, the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, being between 50 and 70% below their normal levels. Obviously, the reduced level is different based on where along the point of the river you're looking. The rivers originate in Turkey, up in the mountains, and flow down through Syria and then through Iraq, where they provide the various populations' water supplies and also their irrigation water for their farming. Most of it is regional subsistence farming. It's not like the California Valley, where you can wave off a fair bit of it as industrial farming. No.
Very, very important point here. The Euphrates river, unlike other rivers in the world, for example, the rivers they have in US, the situation can be controlled by one entity, by one government. So that would be the US government. Or if there is a river in UK, it can be controlled by the UK government. However, with the Euphrates, subhanallah, the qadr of Allah, the decree of it, I mean, look at the miracle of the hadith and how true the hadith is. This river, the Euphrates river, is being controlled by 3 countries mainly, Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. And that makes it so much complicated for this river to be maintained, for this river to have water, because nobody cares. Everybody cares about their own country. Nobody cares about the river itself. If you're not getting water in Syria, I don't care as an Iraqi. Or if I am a Turkish citizen, I don't care if the Iraqis are getting water. Eventually, my point here is that eventually this river will give rise to so many conflicts that is being prophesied in the hadith, when Rasulullah ﷺ said that do not go. When you go close to it, do not take anything. Means this river as a default has so many entities to claim on it. If you try to claim on it too, you'll be in trouble. That's basically what the hadith is talking about. Imagine yourself, now they're fighting over the water. Imagine yourself once this river will give up gold. People will go crazy. I mean, water, they go crazy. They can have water from other sources, yet they want to have water from Euphrates river. Imagine once the river gives up gold, what will happen? People will fight. Wallahi, this is insane. Take a listen.
Well, these are not large corporations growing nuts and other things for nasty tasting dairy replacements in quotation marks. These are communities and regions growing just their food to feed themselves. And their ability to do so is jeopardized because of the present conditions of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, in large part being caused by the severe drought in the region, the dryness of which, in Turkey in particular at least, and even in their neighbor Greece, has been resulting in really bad wildfires over the last several months or so over the course of the summer. So the drought is the ultimate reason, although there are some other adding or additive factors that are themselves caused by the drought. The drought just causing, in particular, Turkey to make some water withholding decisions, holding back.
Subhanallah, look at what happened in Turkey just a few days ago. They had this wildfire, And Turkey now is realizing, according to this video, they are realizing the importance of this water. They are understanding that if we let this river flow and have the water go to other part of the world, especially to Syria and Iraq, then how can we deal with this situation, with the wildfire situation? This is pushing Turkey on edge, dear brothers and sisters. This is going to have a huge impact. The wildfire in Turkey that we have seen, it will have so much more ramifications in the coming days, weeks, months, and years, that eventually, wallahi, there might come a time when Turkey will just say, you know what, we are not going to share this river, we're going to build dam, we're going to preserve the water just for ourselves, ending up having the whole river being wiped out. Subhanallah.
More of the river's flow to try to keep their reservoirs from dropping too quickly, which obviously, since they're where the rivers originate, that's the most upriver region, that further lowers or cuts down on the river levels as they pass down through the downriver nations, Syria and Iraq. Now, obviously, that's resulting in even further hardship for the people in their neighbor Syria, who've already been dealing with things over the last 10 years or so since the Syria situation started.
Another irony of it, dear my sisters, and the proof, I should say, of the hadith is that right now we do not know who is running Syria. The entire country is not run by al-Assad alone. This country is now fragmented. A lot of entities, a lot of people, even a lot of other countries are claiming ownership of some of the territories of Syria. For example, Turkey, they have their base, I believe, in Idlib. Russia, they have their base. US, they are after the oil in Syria. And then you also have Bashar al-Assad. So in other words, this country is directly related with how the river will flow, how much the water it can contain, where the water will go, how to manage the water. This country, this river and this country, Syria, even though they're related and they're linked to this river directly, but the country is not even run by one entity. So it is making it even more complicated for the river to actually survive because of the situation in Syria. And if you don't see the prophecy coming true through these events, wallahi, I mean, you need to wake up. You need to see it for yourself. Everything is related. Everything has a purpose. The reason Turkey got wildfire, the reason Syria got invaded, it has more implications than what we see in terms of politics, just in terms of politics, wallahi.
Now, I believe I did mention before, this was one of the this is one of the particular areas in the world where an actual water war could end up happening in one way or another, with the other potential ones being between India and China, India and Pakistan, or Egypt and Ethiopia. This was one of the few other ones. However, ultimately, probably one of the least likely to happen, simply because all Iraq or Syria could try to make a quick flight dash over the border and bomb some of the dams. Turkey has an actual military, while Syria and Iraq kind of just don't. It's like the Egypt versus Ethiopia comparison. Also, Syria wouldn't really be making any kind of cohesive response anyways, because, you know, the Syria situation is or has become kind of permanent, and the country internally is factionized and split, like, I don't know, 5 different ways at this point. So yeah, that's the general quick summation of it. Euphrates and Tigris are going relatively dry in relative perspective to what, you know, their water levels would otherwise normally be, and ultimately is just likely going to result in prolonged suffering.
And of course, with the suffering, as I said before, the reason we will see WW3 is not because who is the superpower of the time, is not because of the trade, it is not because of technological development or military modernization of a country, or building new bases in other part of the world. It is none of them. The only reason WW3 will take place is because it will be a matter of survival. So just like Euphrates River, the people in this region from Turkey, Syria and Iraq, the reason they will go to war over this river is because this river, if it is dead, and if none of these countries are getting any water supply from this river, they will not be able to survive. They will not be able to sustain their the produce, the irrigation and agriculture. So they will go to war because of the survival, subhanallah. And subhanallah, look at the irony of it. All of these world politics are being played out focusing, or as if it is focused on these prophecies, even though they do not know, the kuffar do not know. But all of these events, world politics, are taking place, and they will eventually culminate in fulfilling those prophecies, and people do not even know, wallahi. And we have to, as believers, we have to know, we have to study, we have to keep close. We need to tune in to this kind of news, find out what is happening with the Euphrates River, because we believe these things will happen from the hadith. So we have extra responsibility, if you like, to find out and to know the situation of this Euphrates River, the signs of the Mahdi, the end of time, and whatnot. Jazakallah khair for tuning in. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like this video, if you share this video, inshallah. I'll see you soon again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.